lane. Battery Assault, Iron Shell, run down the lane, make it really hard for whoever's on safe to just find that farm. It's going to be really annoying there for Boom once those level 2, level 3 spikes are up for that Clockwork DS.
You know what's really interesting about this grand final as well for this Pro Series, John, is both these teams are probably going to be going through qualifiers to try and get to TI-10. So there's a very high likelihood we're going to see this kind of repeat later on in the qualifiers between these two teams. So you want to kind of try and establish your dominance right now. Because in some way, you want to have that kind of psychological high ground against the other team before those qualifiers do come in. Not to mention, of course, winning the Pro Series is gonna get you some money and make you feel pretty darn good. Then later on, of course, you are still going to have some added value in the qualifiers if you do end up having to go up against each other towards that road to TI-10. Be very, very exciting stuff. Gotta love this time of year, John.
Yeah, it's the most exciting time for Dota, and this is when most teams bring their A game, because it's that one big tournament. I just thought about the perspective for how much money there is in the year. So the two majors are worth 500k total. I think the regional leagues add up to 200k total for every region, or roundabouts that much. So that's like what, 1.5 mil. Let's put it at 1.5 mil outside TI. TI is worth 40 mil, right? So every team wants to go to TI. It's so crazy that even with the DPC league system, right? Like the distribution is still very TI heavy. It's just the way it is. That's just how Dota is right now. So have to make it to TI if you want that glory and also a chunk of that prize pool.
Absolutely. But now, though, get a chunk of this prize pool, John. Boom Esports. Final ban out. Focusing on those fearless heroes, they know that Motivate is lacking that mid lane, and they will go ahead and ban out the Storm just in case. Motivate. Again, you still have the Invoker if you want to go back down that route. I don't think it'd be too bad of like an Ember game right now either. Be nice to kind of just rush a Spirit Vessel on Fearless in that mid lane. Kind of deal with the Morphling with the chains out. You still are going into the Hex of the Shadow Shaman, which is probably going to be the most annoying thing for the Ember. But it still feels like it would suit quite nicely. And again, the Invoker's still there. So if you want the Alacrity combo, the Vac Wall into the Cataclysm, that can be quite impactful as well. So many combos, in fact, that Motivate could run right now with this last pick.
Yeah, I think the Invoker is going to be more valuable for potential Spirit Vessel build. As you mentioned, the Ember could do that as well, but also the EMP. Okay, Tiny coming through. That does give Fearless a really quick place to play with. It gives him really good burst to play around with Lion. And they've got a lot of burst damage on hand with Lion and Tiny's Avalanche Toss and Finger. And that also could play around the Vac Wall. Like, down the line, your Tiny can transition to a right-click build, the Ag Shard, you go Echo Saber, AC, Daedalus. So the Tiny can scale into that late game nowadays. It's back to that old Tiny build-up, and we will see if Fearless can reach that point. Of course, initially, you're still going to look for your blink timing here, and you're going to have to play aggressive. Keen to see if Boom will have that Morphling mid. They do go with a Razor last pick. It's still rather even, but that might just be our Dream Cell Razor. No, Dream Cell's on the morph safe, right? They just want to counter the Tiny, make it hard for Fearless to actually get his last hits off. That's going to be tough. That's a great counter pick and a great way to close it out from Boom.
I would agree. I think it's a very smart Razor pick being made here by Boom. And, I mean, at least in that mid lane, Fearless is going to have, I think, a pretty rough time now with that static link. Because you can opt to just toss the Razor away, but it's not really that easy. Especially if Makoto does position himself by the creep wave. It can be quite hard to get the right toss target. Overall, I'll ask you first. I want to get a bit involved as well with these drafts, John, but I'm going to ask you first. Who came out with the better draft in your opinion?
It's a bit of a toughie. I think it's rather even. I'd lean towards Boom. They've got Arena Egg combo. Now Jug counteracts that, but they've got ways to handle the Jug. They can maybe just jump first with a Shaman, get the control onto the Jug. Get the Hex off first. Hyde's blink timing is going to be important here. Got Dreamocell, who is your massive win condition. An app just needs to be absolutely big on the Morphling. Now, there are ways to counteract that in Motivate.Trust. They can go Diffusal on the Jug early on, burn the mana of the Morph. You can't really attribute shift too well, but then you also have to worry about Mikado linking up your Jug or linking up Fearless. And in lane, as we mentioned, Fearless is not going to have a good time. I think Boom has the tools on hand to make the early game hellish for Motivate.Trust. gonna have to find a way to compensate and to strike back with their own team fight combo with that back wall.
I kind of agree with you on that, John. I don't even think it's that close. I think Boom is quite ahead when it comes to draft. It just, every lane seems to have an answer. The only lane I get a little bit worried about for Boom here is the off lane of Motivate. I think the Clock and Darkseer combo is still going to be very, very scary here for Boom Esports. Mind you, you do have a Morphling Dreamer, so he can waveform away from that combo, but it may not be so easy for the supports that kind of run into it. But again, Boom Esports with this draft, I don't see them having too many issues. If they get a good start to the game, they should be able to take over. But we'll find out as Game 1 has begun. And of course, if you are out there betting, don't follow our advice because we are just the casters. We have no idea. So definitely don't follow our advice. Do your own research before you do place some bets. We'll move into it. I only say that, John, because I saw someone got upset last night, I think it was. Because they were following our advice. It's like, no, don't do that. don't follow us.
Yeah.
Or do.
You know, you never know. It's Dota as well, right? Like, you can have the best draft in the world, but if you don't execute, then, well, you don't win. It's just down to those factors. Anything can happen, and you always take that risk. Still, a bit of a quick pause. Classic Southeast Asia. Motivate.Trust needs a second. They've been having some pretty consistent and persistent issues on the internet, so hopefully that won't play up in the middle of the match, but do get some breathing room here as we tend to in Southeast Asia, which is always nice.
Yeah, I think I was reading in chat, somebody was saying that there was some pretty bad weather in Indonesia right now. Apparently it's raining quite heavily. So hopefully Boom Esports, it's going to be alright and stable for them, but obviously you can't really do much if the lines are playing up with the internet right now. It just kind of happens, and well, you always say it, John, but it's just a classic SCA problem, unfortunately. Hopefully one day it gets sorted out. Though, Boom Esports yesterday won 4v5, so maybe it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was FBZ as well who was the one to disconnect, not reconnect. They just managed to micro like monsters. They were already ahead, but that last 2-minute fight, they still had to use the puck. They managed to micro well, so you know, if it comes down to it, they could try to reach that point, but hopefully not. I think any team wants to actually go 4v5 as we do get the go-ahead. Looks like everything's sorted out. Hopefully everyone gets to hold out on their internet. We'll see this game break out. Now, you and I, again, think that Boom definitely came out on top in the draft. They've been pretty on point. And remember, they did knock Motivate.Trust down in that upper bracket series. They actually managed to show them up. So we'll see if they can maintain that, get revenge for Pro Series 3 back in the day, where they were just clean swept. And, you know, just finding a couple wins here, maybe looking for a clean sweep themselves. You can tell Boom is pretty hungry from the interviews. They've been much more relaxed at home, but they're motivated to kind of take these games.
I mean, Boom, the thing is with Boom, right, is they've always been a top team in SCA. And they've always been so close to being at the top. And I think for them, they just want to come first. They just want to be able to say, yeah, we did it. We were the top of the region for a little bit. Yeah, that's what you want. You want to get that momentum started. Now, John, I did have a look at the loot bet odds. They were on the screen about 30 seconds ago. The favorites are still Motivate.Trust right now. But it's like $1.09 to $1.08. $1.90 to $1.80 is what I was trying to say. So it's about 10 cents worth of a difference in terms of odds, which is pretty insane. But apparently more people have confidence in MTG this series.
I mean, again, historically, Motivate.Trust has won. It's only that upper bracket game they recently dropped. We'll have to see. Scuffle over these ruins.
It is a Razor. You're going to be careful, but they are going to go in. With the battery sold, in fact, never mind the Razor. They'll go for the easier target and Hyde. And with the spin out from Jackie, it might just be enough as Hyde. He has no way to stop this, but it will be Q to take the first blood on the Clockwork. But honestly, that can be quite nice for the Pos 4 Clock, because now you can rush Tranquils, and you can just make it a very hard time for Boom Esports by roaming across the map as this Clock and just being very annoying. So overall, not too bad just getting that first blood instead of, say, giving it to the Jug.
Yeah, and having early Tranks in this lane is just so good, because you're with the Darkseer. You've got the Iron Shell, you can just really run down, you can regen back, reset, come back in. it is going to be a bit tough as the levels build up here for Boom. Initially going to be fine though. Like, it's a melee hero, dual melee up against a Phoenix. Kezcute, as long as the Fire Spirits are up, can really get some good harassment out. And you're going to have to watch your spacing just for a bit on Motivate.Trust. Q does get a nice clean pull though. This is going to be easily cleared out by Mazros. Oh.
No, it's not clean at all, John. Small camp did spawn up. It was not blocked, but it looks like Motivate wanted that to happen because Mazros can farm both at the same time. So really, it's not that bad. It's kind of more efficient for Mazros in the end, assuming he does hit all the last hits properly. But it looks like Dreamer Cell and Kezcute are here to interrupt. They have blocked the large camp themselves with that Sentry Ward, which is pretty standard these days. We'll see if MTG can keep it up. For now, though, it does probably mean Dreamer Cell is going to have a very free time in the Morphling.
Yeah, he has range. He's not going to be zoned out. Kezcute's doing a great job holding them back. He's got Fire Spirits back up, so we'll have to see how far MTG's willing to commit. Have to hit their own leveled spikes before they really get aggressive there. And again, you're just allowing Dreamer Cell to smooth ramp up. He's going to have his Mormon Mask relatively early, and it's at that point where the Morphling can just jungle if things do start to go south. So you do need to find that early ramp up here from MTG. Gives us a chance to look at the other lanes, though. Down mid, Mikado and Fearless on that Razor and Tiny. So far, just going a bit back and forth. It is ending up a bit better here, Mikado, as it's a melee hero you're up against. You can play with your static link, clear out the wave, plasma field. So Fearless has to be a bit cautious. He's behind almost a full creep wave. That's a good amount of gold for Mikado.
Top lane, they lose the Shaman. Hyde drops. Leonak will go second. FBZ does at least trade. Gonna be a 1-for-1, but of course the XP and a bit more gold goes the way of MTG. I have to argue that's a little bit better off there for the Motivate.Trust boys. Still very even in the end.
Definitely, it's a bit of an aggressive lane for Boom to play with. With a Shadow Shaman, they can set up with Shackles or Hex into the Spear. We've got a good amount of Nuke with the Ether Shock on top of what FBZ has, God's Rebuke. So you will have to be a bit cautious on MTG. The good news is a Jug can just spin through a lot of that control. Jackie just needs to be more defensive with a Bleed Free usage. They could still line up to be offensive, of course, with the Earth Spike and the Hex on MTG's end. But you don't really want to risk it for the Jug. Like, Jackie just wants that easy ramp up to his first few items, escalate from there, hit the jungle up, and start to build up into that core we know Jackie is.
Fearless is actually having a pretty good performance considering this lane, I've got to say. Like, he's only 3 CS behind the Razor, and I think that should be a much bigger kind of gap between the two, but he is somehow still able to farm up quite effectively. I suppose the tree grab obviously does help quite a lot. Makoto now, Avalanche, toss back is going to be there, but the creep wave was fortified. Very nice for Makoto to read the movement of Fearless and fortify that creep wave just to make sure he does not take too much damage. In fact, now Fearless going to get dived on. Nice Icarus dive in from Kezcute, and they will have the damage. It's a very smart rotation there from Boom. Q now is going to try and punish Kezcute, and the creeps will get it, but he does claim the kill. 1-for-1, but of course, much more preferable here for Boom Esports.
Yeah, and they're really starting to get these lanes all together. I think seeing Kezcute manage to make that rotation, it means that they're not being pressured by the Darkseer dual lane, which is really not what you want. Like, that Clockwork DS needs to be more active with the Iron Shell spam. They're not just able to threaten. They even find that kill up top. Again, it's the setup with the Shadow Shaman. You've got a lot of burst damage with the Ether Shock and the God's Rebuke to melt these heroes down. You have to watch your spacing here for MTG. As the levels go up, Boom can continue to get aggressive in every single lane.
They can. Of course, top lane, there was a kill out onto Leonak. Very nice setup there from Hyde. He's going to rush forward. He does have that level 2 spin up, and he'll try onto FBZ with the Hex follow-up from Leonak. Is it going to be enough? Not quite. The God's Rebuke will be there. Hyde will salve up FBZ. FBZ, he went for that Orb of Corrosion, which you don't see so often on Marses, but it does tank you up quite a bit, and he does have the 2 Gauntlets of Strength as well. So that level 2 spin was never really going to be enough here from Jackie.
It's really tough for MTG to commit towards FBZ now. They should just look to hide if he oversteps. Like, you have to consider the range of the Shadow Shaman is fairly short, even on his spellcast. has to drag him a bit closer than he'd like to. So that's probably here you'd want to abuse. Jackie's still finding some really good farm in his top lane, though. Not as good as DreamOcelt's farm on the Morphling on his safe lane, but it's enough to keep up. Keen to see what Jackie goes for. He's flying out a Wraith Band first with a Phase Boots. Wondering if this is Diffusal or Maelstrom Dam for him. Battle Fury would be a bit slow. We haven't really seen cores go for that nowadays. So we'll have to see what Jackie does opt for. Really nice pull from Leonak. It's going to be cleared out by Jackie along the wave. And that should help him accelerate towards level 6.
Oh, nice little snipe there from Hyde. Gets the shackles off, but Hex is there from Leonak, and now Q. Gonna rotate. Spear is a little bit off the mark. I believe he wanted to go Q with that spear. Still, there are going to be rotations in. McCodo going to show up now on the Razor, and that's one person the side of MTG do not want to fight at the moment. They will be able to clean up Leonak. Makoto immediately going to go for the TP back into the mid lane. This T1 was being forced in there by Fearless. Was Fearless on the Tiny. He does have an invis, so he could make a rotation himself. But I don't really see many openings for him right now, so he might just have to go back to the lane.
Yeah, this is getting a bit difficult for MTG. Master, as you can see him, he went all the way back to the base. DreamOcelt basically has a free lane. And that's the Clockwork DS lane we talked about. It should be doing a little bit more against the Morphling, but DreamOcelt can just play super safe from his range. I got around the attribute shift at level 3 now. And if you're not getting that aggressive spacing out with the Darkseer, it doesn't feel like it's going to buy you that space it needs. It's just going to soak farm, build items up. But you're competing with farm against your other cores. You haven't blown down the Morphling. You're going to have a problem with DreamOcelt's Morph in a relatively short time here.
Look at the denies on DreamOcelt. Look at this. That's why Hyde tipped him. He's denying the whole wave away. He's got 26 denies in this Morphling. He's about 1.2k ahead of Masaros now on the Darkseer. He's not giving any creeps away to this Darkseer at all. This mid lane, Keskut, gonna be caught out. They should have enough control to get the Phoenix, and they will. Nice little rotation there from MTG. Well, they even secure a nice haze rune for Fearless.
Yeah. Enable more aggression. They're inching towards those level 6 spikes on their clock, at least. Their line's still a bit off. Jackie, they're kind of far forward here on Boom's end, going for that chase, so they could maybe look for an angle on MTG's end.
They don't have to spin, though. They're going to have to rely on the Omni, but a quick Hex out from Hyde. They wanted the cogs off to be able to trap them in, for Fearless to rotate on the Tiny and to have the Omni committed. But Hyde saves the day on the Shaman. You look at that arena and you might think it was a bad arena, but a nice defensive arena there from FBZ will allow them to get up. And now the rotation in, they know exactly where they went. MTG go in for an avalanche toss, and they will get something for their trouble.
Yeah, not quite the big kill they'd want, but it's still more money, more EXP going away with Fearless, help accelerate into that farm timing.
Masaros, what are you doing there, sir? Gets caught out.
He was creep cutting. He was creep cutting around behind the tier 2. I guess he might have wanted to rotate around, grab a camp, or was spotted out by Hyde. Just really greedy, but he doesn't really have a lane to play. Like, he knows DreamOcelt's getting free farm. He might as well try to shove that wave in to get some damage from tower and FBZ.
FBZ caught out. Jackie probably wants the Omni to be committed, and we'll just throw it out. But now Makoto, he's going to jump in with the static link out onto Jackie. He'll force the spin TP away. He should be able to at least get Q on the Clockwork. Definitely not the best trade here for Boom, but they'll take it as Cogs push Makoto off the map for a couple seconds, but he'll be back. Meanwhile, Fearless, not done with his Phoenix yet, does get him just before the Icarus dive flies out. Our old Keskut has the raindrops, but doesn't have the fluffy hat up yet on the Phoenix, so he can't survive the avalanche toss, plus the tree throw.
Yeah, it's too much damage coming out from the Tiny. He's got max avalanche, 2 levels in toss, so there's a lot of damage coming through. And this is going to get worse once you hit level 6 on Leonak. It's almost up. Once that's ready, you should look to make more rotations around the map. Boom, though, are applying pressure on the towers. They drop the wards up top. The Fortify was there to save time, but they're still going to have to respond to that move and maybe try to farm up these wards.
Absolutely. Kodo going to stick around. Let's probably try and get that tier 1 tower down with the siege creep. Yeah, I've got Q here. He has hookshot up. But I don't believe they'll have the damage to burst down Makoto, because he does have that Hood of Defiance up as well as a Fairy Fire. Makoto is going to back off anyway. I think it's going to be very problematic to try and burst down this Razor this game. He is going to be a bit of a tanky boy.
Yeah, you're going to have to commit a lot to kill off Razor. You might just look for the squishy backline first. And if you kill the Phoenix every time, with no threat of egg, the team fight potential of Boom kind of dwindles. They rely on the egg arena combo in these big 5v5, so as long as you find Kescute, I think you can sort of deal with the rest as they go.
Kescute, Avalanche is out, commits the egg. Hookshot, meanwhile, in the backside. They got Hyde on the Shaman. Finger out, they will secure the kill, but it is going to cost Q his own life. Still think that's quite worthwhile for the MTG to just get that finger on cooldown, get the stack up for Leonak. And now Fearless, he has an Arcane Rune. Masros is there with him. It looks like they want to try and go for a fight. Surge in, FBZ going to be targeted. Avalanche is there into the toss-up, and Leonak, he'll have plenty of follow-up control. And boom, they will lose another. Mind you, while all this is happening, you've got Dreamer Soul who's freely farming up that Morphling. So it looks like, boom, they're probably going to be okay with this as long as Dreamer Soul says he's fine.
Yeah, I think the one thing is that you're doing the same for Jackie. He's just sharing that lane with Dreamer Soul. He's building into that Diffusal. So the big question is your Morphling going to be online faster than the Jug Diffusal? I don't think so. The full SNY has to come out first for Dreamer Soul. After that, you're still looking for more stats to pad yourself out. And Jackie can just abuse the Diffusal once it's up. You drain the mana of the Morphling, he's not going to be able to shift around. You even have the Lion to help you drain that mana off. So this tankiness of Dreamer Soul is put into question. Whether or not he can survive these early fights, if he's going to be in them at all, remains to be seen.
Here we go. Dreamer Soul. Gonna wait in the tree line, he won't be spotted out. Back to TP mid. Nice movement there for Dreamer Soul. Meanwhile, top lane, FBZ, he does secure the top tier 1, and they'll go for an immediate smoke up. Find a couple stacks here in the jungle that they could take later on, but they definitely want to start a fight first. And I think this is the right approach as well. They head straight for that mid-tier 1 tower. You heard in your dreams say it. The problem is Jackie keeps farming. If you can get the mid-tier 1 and open up the map, then Boom can just keep running down the side of Motivate.Trust. And that way you will never allow the Jug to keep this farm up. And here they go. Arena is down. However, a nice hookshot Q. He will save the day. Masaros, he'll get the back wall down. They've already got Q down, but at what cost? FBZ, he's going to be the first to drop on Boom. Jackie, meanwhile, gets an Omni Slash off onto Makoto, but there's no damage there. The Static Link took it all away. Now Boom will try and turn, but it looks like they might have to leave. This Avalanche is out. Fearless trying to go after Hyde. Q will take care of the Shaman. Dreamer Soul, he's joined in on the Morphling, but I don't think he can do much quite yet. He can't. In the end, Motivate.Trust, they successfully defend that tier 1 mid and get a very good team fight going their way. And that's not going to spell the greatest of news here for the side of Boom Esports.
Definitely going to hold them back from aggression. They don't have the egg arena combo as well for the defense. So MTG can kind of force the issue here. Just throw their bodies forward, get some chip damage off.
Fearless, he's in. Kodo, but no, he wants the other backside onto Dreamer Soul.
Ooh.
Oh, Leonak setting up for an easy killer now. The hookshot Q, he's gone back in. He knows they've got the advantage, but the cogs are going to block the way. Still Jackie will get the Diffusal Blade off, and FBZ looks like he has been caught out. They're going to try and help with the Plasma Field. Hex out onto Jackie again, and that will make sure they can't get the spin off. That Boom, they're on their toes at the moment. Definitely some very aggressive movements being made by Motivate.Trust. It looks like Jackie wants to go for the mid-tier 1 now. Arena, though, down, but the spin is out. They got the Static Link off, but Jackie, he's going to use the Diffusal Blade on the Razor and just runs away. The mid-tier 1, at the very least, was defended successfully by Boom.
Yeah, but it looks like Motivate.Trust really aren't resting. They just maintain that presence around mid. They could look for the wrap. Fearless does have the Blink combo ready to go still. And they're just gonna keep pressure. They want that mid-tier 1 as well to prevent Dreamosol from farming up. So both sides getting so far into those mid-towers. Someone's got to give at some point, and they do have the egg up on Boom, but no arena this time. Means that their team fight's still a bit disjointed, and MLPG, they just get started.
Absolutely. They go again. There's nothing to stop them. This tier 1 tower is going to go down for free, and that's a very bad sign now for Boom Esports. I realize they want the arena egg combination, but that mid tier 1 is going to be very valuable. And it kind of works the same way for Boom, right? Like now the map's open for Motivate.Trust. You've seen how aggressive they've been with this draft of theirs. I'm sure at this point they could just keep chasing them down now.
Yeah, they can just commit further into that jungle, start to think about invading the triangle area as well. And the one thing for Boom is it comes down to core timing, right? Like the Morphling can scale really nice late, but Dreamosol needs much more time to build up. The S&Y needs to come in, then he needs more. Scotty perhaps coming through afterwards before you really feel comfortable.
Nice easy kill. He's got Hyde. He's got the Iron Shot. Look how fast Hyde's dying. He's going to try and pop the Serpent Wards down, but Q's going to be alright. In fact, Dreamosol.
Oh god, why?
He tried to help out. Q, he is going to go down in the end, perhaps, or maybe not. They do eventually get him. Arena down now. They'll go after Fearless and the Tiny, and they might be able to trade nicely, but Massaros, he gets the surge off, and that'll allow the Tiny to run. Because now, Boom need to find a way out of this. It looks like they're going to be alright, but nothing is working their way so far.
Yeah, they just don't line up the hits, and I get why you tried to come back in the Morphling. They still are surrounding MTG though.
They're gonna try Earth Spike out. It's like Leonac should be just fine with those Tranquils up. 4K behind, definitely a very bad sign. You would have kind of maybe even hoped that Dreamosol just kept farming. Look, the way he was going, in fact, hold that thought, because the double Earth Spike out. They've got the control again. They found Hyde, they found Keskune. Toss him right back into the finger. Keskune, he will be able to Icarus dive. But Hyde is taken out. Back to what I was saying though, John, you kind of wish that Boom just let Dreamosol keep farming. Because now Jackie, he's 2K ahead.
They've been trying. Right, Dreamosol got that free lane top to farm. His support died first. He could have just left.
Q's on fire right now on this clockwork. Onto FBZ. He just does not want to slow down, and it's going to be another. And this is the Motivate.Trust that you really get afraid of if you are up against them. That hyper-aggressive playstyle where they just never slow down is online, and now with the blink up as well on Leonac, how do you slow these guys down at all?
You know, you just try to stall, try to toss different bodies out, but keep Dreamosol safe.
Oh,
Dreamosol,
no. He'll waveform away. Do they have a hook shot? Not for 20 seconds. He'll be alright.
They just keep Dreamosol safe. Don't have him up front in lanes like that. Give him some spot of jungle to farm and ward maybe the top jungle area. Stay there. Build up, clear out the waves, get the E-Blade up after this S&Y, and try to go for the burst plays. You just need this win condition of yours to actually get farm. And right now he's not. He's been caught out way too many times. He doesn't have his bot jungle. His triangle's too small. He needs a lane plus some area, and I think the top's the best for that. But you already see the top lane's being shoved out behind Mikoto. They kind of take control there. There is a little bit of a jungle here for Dreamosol. It's not the biggest. And Motivate.Trust, because of that kind of movement, with a clockwork, they can scout around the jungle, still with a flare, invade the bot jungle. They're still AFK farming on Jackie, still maintaining that 2K gap. You mentioned they will smoke up, trying to intervene in the top lane.
Motivate.Trust, they're going to make their way up now, along with Leonac and Fearless. Have a quick look in the Roshan pit. There may be no need for this smoke. I mean, Massaros now has the Ags on the way. They aren't going to wait for it, though. It looks like Fearless, he's pretty confident with the Avalanche Toss and the Echo Saber that he can definitely burst out Hyde. Hex is out. Hyde, he's a bit tankier now. Is it going to be tanky enough, though? Not quite.
It's not the biggest kill. I think they would have been happier with Razor Morris and down mid.
Now they got a nice arena spear off, but Q, he's got the cogs out in time, so he can survive this. In fact, he's got the hook shot up. They're going to try and turn a toss back onto Makoto, right back into Q, into the hook shot and the finger.
Oh.
They'll get rid of the Razor. FBZ, he's going to try and run. I don't know if he'll be able to make it out of this, but a nice spear out on the right target. He will get the Tiny, but Leonak, he's not done. Surge up, he needs the blink, but no Fearless. An avalanche toss again into the cogs of Q. In FBZ, he's going to try and fight back. And Nice Egg is out. Motivate, they need to get out of here. The vacuum will save the day from Massaros to allow them to back off. At least with the egg, they do save the life of FBZ and Hyde. Nice little play there from KezCube, but that's another 100 seconds that egg is down. And look what Jackie's doing. Jackie has not shown up at all. We look away, we come back. He's got the SNY up. He's taken a tier 2 bottom tower. He's just going to get out of control soon.
I tell you, already is. This is a very hard to handle jug. Your Morphling's not quite at the same point yet, and they're still playing around here.
That they are. Hyde being taken down again by Fearless into another. Looks like Dreamer Cell will be able to at least find Leonak. Gets a nice dominating spree for himself. Nice little gold influx for the Morphling. See how hard of a game it's been for Hyde, and I think Motivate, obviously doing their own homework, understand how impactful Hyde can be in these games. So just focusing him down on that pos for Shaman, it just seems to make it that so Boom can't really fight.
Yeah, really awkward position. Not only that, but from the draft as well. They took out the Nyx, they took out the Tusk, they just target his heroes, prioritize them in the bans, and it just forces Boom to play very differently. Like, they don't have that active 4 they usually play with. Shadow Shaman just feels so slow now, needing a Blink and Aether Lens to really be effective. It's so much farm. You have to soak up, and it just takes a while. So your power spikes are all stalled out, and that just gives MTG so much room to play with. They go straight into the Roche here. They do not have wards on a Boom side to spot this out. They do have a smoke. They could try to sneak in.
They could. Bit of a hard ask here. They've got to get a nice arena off, but the toss in Fearless, he will get the team fight started. The Hex is out. Now the hook shot, going to hold back the backside. Q's not going to allow them to go forward, but a nice egg is there. KezCube going to try and turn this one around. FBZ's already down. They'll lose Q. Omni going to be committed, but Makoto with the static link has taken all the damage away from Jackie. Back into the Roshan. Boom, they might be able to steal here, but Jackie, he doesn't want to allow this to happen. Who do they go for first? Fearless. Been very good with the tossbacks this game. They'll start the Roshan. There's another toss out with the Avalanche and the Earth Spike and the Finger. Vacuum Wall is also placed. Hyde is way out of position and he's gone. And that'll be a Roshan now to the way of Motivate.Trust.
That was such a prolonged fight. There were like 2 different skirmishes that happened. They still went out on MPG's end.
Oh,
and they find more.
He found another. In fact, they go for Dreamer Cell. He's going to go the way of Leonak. Oh, he didn't realize the lion was there. He's out of mana. He does get a bit more now, but the double Earth Spike from Leonak. Morgamana boss indeed.
Oh,
just very bad news for the side of Boom Esports. Motivate.Trust. It's classic grand final Motivate.Trust, John. They already look so darn good.
Yeah, they bring that A game out. Boom. You know, we said their draft looked pretty nice. They had the Arena Egg combo. They had the Morphling that on paper should be scaling quite well. But they're just not able to do so. Dreamer Cell dies a bit too much early on. They don't really make use of the Egg Arena, but that's more because Motivate.Trust are the ones running at them. They're not the ones initiating. Boom is not the one to set the terms of engagement. It's Motivate.Trust. They're the ones starting these fights first. Boom needs to be the aggressors. They need to be the ones jumping in, using their spells, catching heroes off. They can't do it. FBZ still needs a blink. It's just so hard for him to catch anyone out.
Hook shot. Off the mark, FBZ. A nice spear there, in conjunction with Hyde's Hex, but Jackie, he's not done. After FBZ, they don't have the Omni though. It'll be up in 10 seconds or so. Dreamer, he's getting very close to that shotgun. He'd love the Ethereal Blade up before this team fight breaks out again. Just needs enough gold for the Ghost Scepter. It seems like they are lacking just so much damage right now. Looks like he might even hold out the buyback gold just in case MTG want to try something cheeky. This Q is looking for an angle, and they're going. They're going in with the Aegis. There's the Avalanche toss out. They've got Dreamer, but he will waveform back out of there. Arena is very nice. They've got Fearless in on the Tiny, but he's going to be able to run out just barely. Looks like he might just make it. The Egg still going down. Fearless being chased. The Vacuum, though, is going to save the day, and they will surge the Tiny away as they might be able to reinitiate now. Who do they want to go after? FBZ is going to be targeted, but no. They found the Phoenix. They will take down Kescue. Mikoto will try after Jackie, but he does have the Omni. They've got to be very careful here. They'll buy back. Fearless again. The Avalanche is in, but the toss back is not there. In fact, now Dreamer Cell, he'll toss him back. He'll find the Tiny this time. They'll get Fearless, but a nice Earth Spike. Jackie's in with a massive spin out. Kescue might die back. Jackie, he's diving T4 towers. We're only 27 minutes into the game, but he wants to go all the way. He still has the Aegis up. FBZ, he'll land the spear. Shackle's not going to be great as Hyde now gets Vacuum back in and Hookshot. Oh, it's up the mark, Jackie. He'll block the way. They might have to run now, MTG. Or do they? Hex out, but Fearless, a massive Avalanche toss out onto Hyde again. The Shaman's in trouble. He'll go down. They do have buyback, but it's not looking great for Boom. As now it's a 13k net worth lead for Motivate.Trust. And this defense just looks more and more difficult as time goes on. Mikoto, he's going to be perched up. Avalanche toss again from Fearless. Hyde almost dies back. It'll be alright though, because Jackie, he'll lose the Aegis to the shotgun. Mikoto, he's trying to fight. He's trying to statically Fearless. He might have a lot of damage, but he doesn't have the time to hit anyone. So MTG, they are back in. Not done yet. FBZ for a nice spear opportunity. Q, hookshot back up again. Fearless, another Avalanche toss onto Mikoto. They're going to trap him. No, the Vacuum wall's out. It's onto 3, but the Egg is off cooldown again. They need to run out of range for Q. He has been left behind. He has been shackled, and he will finally go down as they chase for more now. They found Masaros. He's going to try and surge himself out, and it looks like he will make it.
Oh, man. As such a prolonged set of fights, they do manage to hold on to the racks. Believe it or not, Boom. Mid-rack still standing. They only lose their tier 3 tower. So in a way, that was a successful defense for Boom. It just cost them a lot. A lot of kills flying out towards MTG, and a lot of farm as well. That's time where Boom are just staring at them at their base, not clearing out creep waves, not clearing out camps to find these tier 3 items. And they need to play some catch-up now. Jackie pretty much has his full Scotty up. Just lacking 100 gold, so he clears one wave or one camp. This Jug is going to be very, very hard to kill. And he's nearly impossible right now anyway. He died with the Aegis. That took a lot of spells, like 2-3 arenas overall in that set of fights. And now with the Scotty up, he's going to be able to slow down that regen in Dreamo Cell and just slow down the healing from this Phoenix as well.
Fearless, he's been very on point with these tossbacks. FBZ, no hookshot, right back into the Hyde. Shaman, they want to get bursting down, and they do get him. No buyback. Mikoto, though, going to get to work onto Fearless. Meanwhile, on the backside, FBZ, he's in trouble, but Fearless, he will go down. And this could mean a great team fight for Boom now as they rush forward onto Q. They'll find another. And this time, Motivate, they do get punished for overextending.
It's a good split up from Boom. They isolate out the backline of Motivate.Trust, and they focus on Fearless. Once Fearless commits, if no one can follow him up, he's dead. He has nothing defensive. BKB is still a long way, well, not long way off, but not quite up yet. And they just split the fight into 2 areas. So that's what they need to do. Just be in 2 different areas, isolate out Fearless from everyone else, and get the numbers advantage.
Uh-oh. Execute, gonna get caught out by Leonak again. Jackie will happily take the kill. They're gonna try and chase down this junk. Leonak, he does get spotted for a second, but they did not have anyone in range to stun. Still a 12k net worth lead. Dota Plus, about 89% the way of Motivate. In fact, it was about 95% before they gave a few kills away just then, but Hookshot is there from Q. FBZ, get the arena down, try to hold them back. But Jackie, he has Omni, he wants to chase. Static Link is there, but it's going to be cancelled. Makoto needs to run, but the vacuum is out. Nice spear from FBZ, but it's only going to save Makoto's life. He will BKB TP away. Motivate.Trust, even with that previous team fight not really going their way, they will not back up from this aggression.
I think that's the right thing to do. Just keep that momentum up. Don't give Boom any breathing room to farm up. Make them struggle to work for every single item that they want. And they're going to be able to just go back, reset onto the high ground. Egg is available though, along with wards. But these racks shouldn't hold off. Without the Morris to threaten with its body, you don't really have a great person to just put up front here.
Just dive spin. Jackie, he's going to be alright. He'll continue taking down the mid racks. It's going to be a very hard defense without that Mars. BZ down for another 22 seconds. The tier 3 bottom tower. Glyph already gone through. Oh, vacuum wall is there into the double earth spike out. They've got the control. They've hexed up Dreamer Cell. The finger will be enough. Leonak and Masteros will get the job done. Jackie, he will keep rubbing salt into the wound of Boom Esports. As this game 1 is starting to look very, very one-sided. Now they are 2 racks up, and Motivate, if they really want to, could try for the 3rd, but they've got to get that tier 2 outer tower first. Back hide. Nice hex up. Buyback is there. Dreamer, so he knows he needs to get in, but a hook shot from a mile away will stun up the Shaman. Maybe they can save. Jackie's out of there. Leonak, he's going to TP out. Q is not down either. They can't kill anyone.
Did you see that? The hook shot was right in time to intercept the spear.
Oh.
He took the spear for Jackie. I don't know if that was on purpose, but if it was, that was way too tight. They called the GG. They knew.
They knew.
Jeez.
That was it. That was their only chance. Jackie says 99. Not sure what that means, but I mean, why the hell not, right? What a great hook shot in from Q. And I thought it was only cancelling off the shackles there, John, but to block the spear off as well. What kind of timing is that? Q's a great clockwork player, though. He really is.
Yeah, I mean, he sets up quite nicely. He played so well. And for a while, you know, Motivate.Trust, it looked like they weren't getting the lanes they wanted, especially in that Darkseer clock lane. They had it solo, had to leave the lane. They were aggressive elsewhere, but Dreamocell was finding that good farm. The issue is he was competing with a Jug. And the Jug has such a smooth power spike from his levels that he can just show up early for the fights just with a diffusal and make use of his network early on, whereas the Morphling needs more. Like, yeah, Mask of Madness, Morbid Mask plus S and Y, you're kind of tanky. You can show up. It's not enough. E-Blade up, yeah, you can maybe burst someone down, not even a guarantee, but you really need to start rolling with a Scotty, stats up, more items. It just takes so long for the Morphling to play as fast as a Jug that Boom. And it feels like they might have gotten baited in. They're used to Motivate.Trust playing towards that late game for Jackie, but as we've seen today, they've shifted towards an early playstyle, like tying Jackie into that early playstyle now, and it's just running everyone down so far.
Well, this is what throws them off, right? Because usually you do see Fearless. He just plays that kind of pure space creation kind of hero. But now it's this very aggressive style. I'm going to take the kills. I'm going to take the farm. And I'm going to carry this game. And in fact, if I was to choose an MVP for Game 1, I'd have to go back to Fearless. There was too many Avalanche tossbacks. Everyone played well on Motivate.Trust, but it's either Fearless Q or Leonak. It's very hard to pick one. But the Avalanche tossbacks were setting up so many great fights that he really was the carry during this game number 1. And with that, John, of course, we are going to have a game number 2 of this best of 5 coming up very soon. We're going to head off to a short break, but right after that break, we'll be back with Game 2's draft. We'll see you then.